we just saw it in the previous game, right, where they're pushing out of that mill house, and you see him walk forward, and say he hadn't moved in that time, or say he didn't have that idea of the position, then he got 2, and hey, we start off with it already. This must be Animal House from what you told me, Blue. Blue's lost it now. Blue has got already. The Animal House delivered the fun.
I was expecting something. I just wasn't expecting that, and it.
Well, they're living up to the name, right? Animals charging for a house. We're in suburbia. Hey, why not? I'll run with it. I'll let them have it. So already some firefights going off, though, and Brass to Mouth, he's not going to walk away with a down. He's going to walk straight away with a kill with that AK.
It's not just him either. 404 has also made an incredibly aggressive push, almost up towards the main street. Problem is, though, Animal House have now been alerted to this, so they're going to be very much ready to take the fight. 404 walks very, very close to at least one of his opponents here. Lipinski is going to be right around the corner from him. 404 looks like he's not going to move past this point, though. If he goes any further than this, he's very much kind of walking into more than likely a trap that Animal House has set up. So he's going to pick a nice, relatively safe position to hide out. You can see Lipinski trying to see over the fence. It doesn't let him see that corner, though. And obviously, we saw his opponent here on the other side come from the far right of his current viewpoint, so we wouldn't have been able to see him moving into that box, meaning 404, as long as he didn't make any noise, should have a pretty big advantage if these guys end up in a 1v1.
And G-Men, right, getting this early pick here, and only now having to just hold back and wait it out on the uplink gives them such an advantage when this push does come in. No matter how long it takes from Animal House are right down to like looking at, okay, we've got to change up our entire style straight off the bat here.
Box Toys as well. He's trying to make his push known as he pushes down the east side of the map and slowly starts to work his way behind the southwest house here. It's going to be an uplink just on the other side of it. We'll do a quick check on the minimap just to make sure he's still got a good amount of teammates here. It's been relatively quiet, so he needs to double check to make sure nothing's happened in the meanwhile, since he hasn't been able to hear much, that's for sure. Good check on the watch there, too, to check the timing on the round. And besides that, especially with that first kill happening, it's made both teams play incredibly passive here so far. Animal House really only pushing in avenues that would be obviously safe for them. It seems like Lipinski has some idea that 404 is sitting behind that fence line, just doesn't know exactly where. So just to be safe, he's going to check out a smoke, too. Try to see if he can force the hand of 404 at all, but once again, I think he's misjudged the position slightly. I think he's a little bit further back than he actually is, so it's really not going to limit him all that much.
I'd be interested to know if he actually clears out that corner, if he does decide to push forward at any point. So that could be a nice, easy one for 404 to try and pick up here. Nade's going out as well. No one's going to be knocked this time around. No one's going to be killed off regardless. Now, interesting positions we're seeing them start to make. We've got one player behind Bus. We've got one just outside of the playground here for Animal House. And then now on this point where it's waiting, okay, how do we go from here? What information do we have to play off of? And they've also got a player at Fairview trying to flank around and get some extra information here. If he can spot the other player that's kind of holding the tank position, he's not going to get a chance of it because 404 has found himself a Wicked Hex, and that position wasn't checked, right? It opens up for him to be able to play from it. And now Animal House are in a rough spot. You've only got 2 players remaining. You're up against 5 members, and this is going to be a rough ride despite that flank that was coming in. Yeah,
Lipinski's already used his smoke, and I'm unsure if he has another one or not, so he's going to have a tough time just trying to push past the other choke point that he's working with before. Swooty Swoo TV is going to be able to take out Steven in the process as well, bringing the Animal House roster down even further. 404 still has this corner position by the hedges and boxes, and unfortunately for Lipinski, who has to know where 404 is at this point, he basically just has to hyper-focus on him. It's the first step in a very long process of bringing this back from a 1v5, and he's only got a minute and a half to do it. So this is looking incredibly dire for Lipinski, unfortunately, and very likely that the G-Men are going to pick up the opening round.
Animal House, right? Okay, you got off to a rough start, but you also didn't gain any ground from there. You pretty much moved forward, you got as far as the playground, and you couldn't move past it because they were ready and prepared for it. No matter where you turned, there was a G-Man somewhere around that corner. Oh, nicely done there by Lipinski. Obviously does have information that position is there, but 404 is not going to try and move out of it. He will be shot down through the bush. At least allowing 1 kill with a minute to go and more nades being thrown up as we can see him. Lipinski has to be oh so careful now because everyone is going to be on the hunt for him.
A little short on the first nade, ends up just missing the house. If it made it, might have very well caught Lipinski, but just a bit too short for that, so will remain shrouded for the time being. Problem, though, is that timer once again, down to almost 30 seconds left now, is not going to leave him with a whole lot of options to play this. You can see they've got a good trade position set up on G-Men pretty much across the board at this point. If Lipinski catches one of them, more than likely someone else on G-Men is going to be in a position to trade that out relatively quickly. So this is by the way the setup looks, very much going to be a lose-lose for Lipinski, but we'll see. He's making his final push now, down to only 20 seconds left on the clock. He's going to be pushed from the right side of the mansion here, too, in just a second. He's trying to juggle back and forth, and he does actually stop Dr. Leo Marvin from pushing him, but ultimately he trades him out the same time, and that will give the opening round over to the G-Men.
The best of a bad situation there for Lipinski. He was pinned down with 3 players from different directions shooting at him, doing the best he could do, but it was a rough start for Animal House from the very beginning, right? You lose that player early on. G-Men have a confident advantage. You saw they took forward positions and able to try and hold them off as they started to come in. And again, they just couldn't gain any ground of it. Let's see if they can turn things around. Now they swap over sides, and it's going to be interesting to see how they do play it, because the thing there was a big difference for me was G-Men, they just had the confidence straight off the gate.
Yeah, and if that's going to be something that continues, Animal House are going to be very careful with how they deal with that. It already caught them off guard once, and it really messed with their momentum, I think, for the rest of the round, too. They played really slow and really cautiously as a result of that. And they were right to do so because of the position from 404 that he had also taken on the forward push. But unfortunately, it overcompensated to a certain degree as well. Yeah. It almost went a little bit too far to the passive side of things, and it ultimately ended up hurting them because when they finally had to push, they didn't have enough time, ended up having to rush into certain situations, and just didn't have a lot to play with there in terms of intel either. So it was a little bit unfortunate for them. We're going to switch sides now.
I got half a part, I'm going to have
Missing the conversation that time for the Animal House.
I mean, I'll start clicking the radio. And that's why you Macarena after you win.
I love these guys already.
I just heard that's why you Macarena after you win. That's all I needed to hear. I require no additional context.
I expect to see Twitter videos of G-Men doing the Macarena when they win, if they win. If not Animal House, I'm expecting it from you. Your Macarena any good, Blue?
It's been a while. I don't know, to be honest with you.
I believe you got some moves.
I haven't tested it out in a while.
You'll be all right.
Yeah, we got to be careful with it, though. It could go badly.
Could be a danger to everyone around you.
So we've got the G-Men starting their push down to the south. Like we explained before, for the first 2 rounds, the uplink point will be the same. It'll continue to be the case for any series of 2 rounds. Following that, both the teams get a chance to attack the same uplink point. Then it'll switch to one of 5 or 6 predetermined positions, depending on the map. This map, it is 6, I believe. Yeah.
And we've got the notorious Biggie Smalls making his way across. Ever so slowly, crouching and waiting. Steven's close by. And you can see that already, right? There's a methodical approach coming in here from G-Men. We've got 2 players on this eastern side by the east house. We've got 1 on the west, kind of looking at the flank. But they're all coming pretty much in a line, right? They're all getting the cover across the board. So if any fights did kick off, then they've got someone close by to be able to refrag already.
Animal has a lot more emphasis on the mansion this time for them. And so far, it's working out okay. They caught Biggie Smalls trying to creep up on that corner window there. So they're going to be able to take him out. He's not fully a limb just yet, though, so he actually can provide a little bit of intel to his teammates if he wants to. But there we go. Silent Knight will finish off the kill. Blast him out in the meanwhile. Will be able to move in. And oh, what are you doing there, Silent Knight? Really wants this kill around the corner, apparently. He's going to end up taking out his teammate. Blast him out to make another big push here, too. Takes down Box Toys and Silent Knight. Brings it into a 3v1. He's going to go for the uplink as well. Try to end the map right here. Believe he's going to be close enough to do it. But no, here's another player pushing him. And at the end of the day, the G-Men will be taking it. They finish off Animal House and win the round on eliminations, putting them up at 2-0.
That was so close for that to be the uplink win as well, to give them the 2 points rather than the 1 from eliminations. Very strong coming out there from G-Men. Despite losing Biggie Smalls early on, it wasn't going to be the end of the world. You even saw the refrag was already about to come in, but as he pushed out on that team kill, what was going on there? He was just hungry for frags. Anything he saw that moved, it was like, yep, I'm gunning you down instead.
He was in that mode where he'll shoot anything that moves, basically. And unfortunately, the first thing to move was a teammate, so that went exactly as you'd expect. So ultimately, though, the G-Men still dominate, taking an attack and defensive round, 2 in a row for them. And now on the switched uplink point, they take 1 more, and the map is theirs. Animal House need to step it up here, as unfortunately, they're on their last legs for this match.
And this is the thing, right? Now the uplink's going to move over to the North Street, is what we can see already. You guys will see it very shortly. And this will be making a little bit different, right? It's a more open area to play from. Okay, you can get some good crossfires and cover fire being played out there if you do handle it well. But G-Men are going to be feeling ever so confident, regardless of what Animal House throw at them this time, I think, because that was 2 very convincing rounds.
Yeah, it'll be on the same street that we actually saw played in the last map, too. It'll just be the second position on this street over on the right side of the map compared to the left side spawn that we had previously played. Still, though, we'll generally play out the same way with some pretty similar positions for the defending team, which in this case, is going to be the G-Men. Once again, though, like, really good prediction on the spawn point here for Animal House. There's unfortunately like 1 or 2 spots they can spawn on this side, so it's a little bit easy to predict where they're going to come out of. But nearly taking a kill. You could see some bullets picking off the side of the house they were by there, so almost being able to pick one off early again. Certainly would have been unfortunate for Animal House if they had that happen 2 attacking rounds in a row.
Yeah, not the start you would have wanted at all. Animal House, right, if they can go into this and at least try and get an uplink win here, that means at least they can even it up, right? Gives them a fighting chance. On eliminations, it's going to be a real battle back. It can happen, but it's going to be so hard. And, well, Swooty Swoo comes in straight away. Finds himself the down into the kill. And Animal House, they just continually can't get this opening kill. And what I don't want to see this time is them get super passive again, right?
It's just them behind is the other problem here, too. But thankfully, things go a little bit better for them this time, but it's not going to stay that way. Both teams, I believe, get a knockdown with a grenade, and Biggie Smalls is going to be able to move in and actually finish off one of them. Well, in the meanwhile, Sudi will get res back up. G-Men stay at a full 5-man squad. Animal House are now down to 3.
Really smart getting that revive up, keeping the numbers. Just going to put the pressure even further onto Animal House here. Wow, and this is what happens, right? This is where it can be done with communication. Okay, you're going to be able to get the... Yep, he gets the revive up, no problem there. But this is a problem. Easily, while that's happening, the shots get fired. The G-Men could have pounced at any point. Depends how close players were. They could have been in a position where, yes, you do a team kill, but you could be punished for it overall.
So thankfully they have a syringe, and it happens in a somewhat controlled environment right there. I think the reason why he pulled the trigger there as well is he could only see the head of his teammate, or a very small amount of it. So in kind of a flinched moment, might have panicked and thought it was a Volk member just due to the lighting of where Swooty was standing at. So a little bit unfortunate, but not so unfortunate for the G-Men, as Biggie Smalls gets another very well-placed nade, knocks down another player, and now Animal House only have 1 alive, unfortunately.
And that was the players that done the team killing as well, right? So made some noise, information found, the nade comes out, it's well-timed, works out in G-Men's favor. And Lipinski, he is all alone. He can try get his down teammate up if he's going to have enough time for it. Still just over 2 minutes 40 on the clock.
He's going to work his way over towards him here, too. He does have to figure out exactly where he's at. So it might take him a second, but I think he's hot on the trail.
And this is what it comes down to, right? Yes, you want to get the revive off, but you've still got to check everything close quarters.
They've got a good amount of time to work with here, too, still, so it's not the end of the world situation. Like, right yet, it's not at a point where he can basically ignore the revive and have to go for the objective. He's got time to get Steven back into the fight and try to rally this back. Unfortunately, in a 2v5, though, once again becomes very, very difficult to even get close to the uplink point, let alone successfully pinch it and try to knock out a full 5-man team the G-Men still have.
And the G-Men, just on that numbers game, they can just play the refrag if they really want to, right? You don't have to go for this at all. They've been so confident with their eliminations, with their kills across the board, and they're looking to put Animal House to bed early on. And G-Men proving that, okay, you might be close to us in terms of overall games played, in terms of actually rankings, but there's a reason why we are ahead of you. Oh, Swooty Swoo caught off completely there. Lipinski able to get 1. Can he get anything else done? Brass to Mouth already starting to fire off, trying to get the refrag potential in there. But this is a good sign for Animal House, right? If you can get away and not be taken down after getting that initial kill, all it takes is 1 more of these to even it up and give yourself more of a field to fight on.
So Lipinski is going to continue to move around here, try to find some angle to work with. You'll note that they have split up slightly between the two of them, just try and open up the possibility for a pinch later on, but they've slowly moved away from that, and they are starting to regroup, mainly because of the lack of time at this point. Only a minute remaining. Smoke will go down. It's actually going to restrict Lipinski's vision a little bit, too, as a result of that, so ends up fighting against them. But they needed to do it, as someone was holding this angle, and without it, I don't think Lipinski would have been able to cross, because Brass to Mouth would have immediately picked him off in the process. However, it's 404 that gets the job done instead. Takes out Lipinski, leaves only Steven alive, who's got to bring it back for G-Men now. Only 40 seconds to do it. He's got 10 seconds each to get one of these players down. Otherwise, he'll lose it on the timer, and the G-Men will take the 3-0 win regardless. So he's got to play it out. He's checked the tablet there and just got confirmation that he's now alone. So we'll adjust the play as such. Brass to Mouth. A nice find there. He's picked 1 up. He's going to quickly try to change position, but he can't go quiet with this. He's got to run at basically full speed, as he does not have time to sit idly by and wait for these players to peek out into the open. He's got to make a move right now. 15 seconds remaining. And mind you, he might not be aware of the fact that time's this low either, just due to the fact that he has to check his watch before he's found another one, though. 404 getting picked off. The problem is, though, he's pinched himself. He's going to walk right into a crossfire of the 2 remaining players. Only has 5 seconds left to do it. He's just going to end up committing himself into the street. And there we go. The timer will unfortunately run out. Biggie Smalls gets the kill anyway. And the GMET will take their 3rd and final round in a row, ending the match in a 3-0 victory over Animal House.